28, it says you can go to prison if you refuse to perform legal, again, the medically safe, on any person, no? And then a doctor cannot anymore ask, where is your spouse consent? No more, because you will go to prison if you insist on the spouse consent. In the original bill, no, it was very clear na bawal ang hingin ng spouse consent. But here, because they know that we have always been pointing out, they added some phrases. It says, in case of married persons, the mutual consent of spouses shall be preferred. However, in case of disagreement, the decision of the one undergoing the procedures shall prevail. My goodness naman po, sobra naman panloloko. What is the difference with the original version? The difference is the same. Meaning, the decision of the one yung magpapalagay pa rin, I don't need to get the consent of my husband. So maraming mag-aaway ng mga husbands and wives. And even to abuse pregnant minors, no parental consent is necessary. And I tell you, if this bill will be passed, even a newborn can crawl to the local health unit and demand for condoms and contraceptives. And if you will not give this newborn, you will go to prison. Why do I say that? It's very clear on paragraph 3, section 28, which is repeated many times in the bill. It says, it is prohibited to refuse to extend healthcare services, reproductive healthcare services, on account of a person's marital status. So free for all, whether you are married or not. Gender, so pati homosexuality, malilegalize na rin dito, no? Sexual orientation, age, no? So there's no distinction. Kaya nga po, universal access to reproductive healthcare services. So nakikita niyo po, why the Catholic Church is putting its life on the line. Sabi nga po ng mga obispo, this is the very first time that the membership of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines are fully united in fighting this issue. No? So indeed, everything is there. I call this diabolical bill. And then, in fact, they say, they have called us by many names. I said, it was me who said this is a diabolical bill, no? Because it's true. How on earth can we call this bill not a diabolical bill? I didn't say you are demons. They're not. They're not actually our enemies. It's Satan who's our ultimate enemy. But Satan will use people on earth, cohorts on earth. And who are they? I mentioned that in my talk, pro-life activism, the call of the hour, no? Now, sabi nila, conscience, ito, provided further that the person is at an emergency condition or serious case. I told you that emergency obstetric care is also considered as a euphemism for abortion. Let me prove to you. Kathy Senson is a Filipino nurse employed at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. She's a Catholic, and therefore she said that from the very start, I told them I don't do abortion, so it is in her contract. But one day, her boss called her and said, Kathy, you've got to come to the hospital right now because we have an emergency. And so because it was an emergency, even if it was her off-duty, she went hurriedly to the hospital. And when she looked, where is the emergency? The woman is walking, was mobile, no? And then when she took the blood pressure, the BP was normal. There was nothing on the appearance of the woman that was an emergency. But then when she looked at the equipment that she was going to prepare, she knew that they were going to perform abortion. She said, I'm sorry, I cannot do this. It's in my contract, I am a Catholic. But then her boss told her, you cannot do that because you will dismiss you. And because she was so afraid to be dismissed, she participated in the abortion. But this is what I always say to my fellow Filipinos. Let's obey God first rather than men. Even if they imprison us, even if they kill us, if it is not in accordance to our principles or conscience, formed conscience, then we should not follow, no? Like I went through a lot in the department of health. They wanted me to follow, or they said they will file a case against me. But I said, no, I'm not going to follow this. Because what I told Secretary David was, this is the worst corruption, Lord. Because it's not only corrupting money, it's also corrupting human lives. And that is also my message to President Aquino. I know that many of us voted for President Aquino. That was the greatest mistake of the Filipino people. We were given by God the greatest opportunity to make a difference. We, genuine pro-lifers, campaigned against President Aquino because we know that he has been a co-author of the reproductive health bill since Congress time, no? But nobody believed us because everybody thought that he's like Cory, subservient to the church. But of course, he did not grow up in the Philippines anymore, no? And now, we are harvesting the bitter fruits of our mistake. Just like in the United States of America, no? They voted for Obama. HLI campaigned also against Obama. Now, what is happening in the United States? But it's good that the American people has awakened, which we should also follow in the Philippines, no? Because last elections, what happened? The Democrats suffered a very fatal blow. The Republicans now control Congress. So I hope that in the next elections, we Filipinos, our first consideration should be, what is their stand on life and family? Because if they cannot even take a stand on a very basic issue as life and family, how can they take a stand on other matters, even corruption? That is why even he says he works on anti-poverty platform, anti-corruption, he still vote Porsche, no? So, marami pa rin ang mga ginagawa. Why? Because he cannot even take a stand about life. So what happened going back to Kathy Simpson? So, she participated in the abortion and it became a very traumatic experience for her. Because imagine, before she had to close, no? Kailangan buuhin niya. Are the 10 fingers complete? The 10 ganon? Everything complete? The hands? Baka naman may naiwan pa the other hand. It might result to infection. So it became a very traumatic experience for her. And so with the help of pro-life lawyers in the United States of America, they filed a case, Catherine Simpson versus Mount Sinai Hospital. Now, pro-RH people, especially like Mom, Lisa Ontiveros, si Anshoko, they always say, we want freedom of choice, no? They always attack the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is trying to impose its beliefs. We are not Catholics, so we want freedom of choice. What freedom are they talking about? When I faced them in the universities, I told them, freedom of choice? Then why are you going to send us to prison? I was once part of the CBCP panel for the dialogue in Malacanang. Actually, I didn't want to be part of the panel, but when CBCP told me, so I went, and I'm glad I went, because I was able to confirm that they are not really sincere in the dialogue. They are lying to their teeth. Secretary Lasherda, all the while that whole morning that we were having the sham dialogue, he was not listening. He was only in texting all the time. He was not listening to the bishops. And then after each dialogue, they would call for a press conference and tell everyone the bishops have agreed, when in fact the bishops have not agreed. And we Catholics, we are angry. What is happening to the bishops? They have agreed, but they have not actually agreed. That is why, personally, my recommendation to the CBCP and all the other panel was, we should stop this dialogue because they are using the bishops for their own ends, no? So, it's only Secretary Dinky Soliman, Secretary Ona, and PM Esabad who sits there in the dialogue. And they're just blocking the bishops. And so, in that dialogue, Secretary Dinky Soliman was telling all of us that, here are our anti-poverty programs, and we have been doing this for a long time, and this is not a population control policy, and this one, there is no compulsion. So I raised my hand. I said, I am glad I came to this dialogue. So we are one in saying there is no compulsion. Why is it in one section it says two-child policy? And then you said categorically there is no compulsion. So I said, may I ask, if there is no compulsion, why are you going to send us to prison? 6 months in prison or pay a fine of up to 50,000 pesos or both. And they panic. They couldn't answer me. So Secretary din Kisutukan, ginanyan niya si Secretary Rasherda. Ikong pala si Secretary Rasherda. Nagalit siya. So he said, in-explain niya Secretary din Kisuliman ang aking question. And then he said, talagang galit siya in his face. That is not for us here to discuss. You go to Congress. We don't have anything to do with that. So sa loob-loob ko lang, why are we having this dialogue? Wala naman pala silang magagawa. So wala talaga. It's a sham dialogue. So where is the freedom of choice there? Let us know and let us tell the Filipino people that they are lying when they tell the Filipino people there is no penalties. Nandyan po yan sa Section 29. Again, imprisonment of up to 6 months and a fine of up to 50,000 pesos or both, no? Nung magharap ng nilagman po sa NBN, sinabi niya, I am the author of the bill. Wala akong penalties dyan, no? I didn't want to be rude, pero it was automatic on my part to tell him, you are lying, no? Imagine to the Filipino people, it is because he was not the one who wrote this bill. Kasi ready na po ito. It's the same baking pan for the whole world, no? What will happen if this bill will be passed? We will be like America. We will be like Europe, where the pro-lifers are now the ones being handcuffed. And in fact, these students, they were even strip searched while they did peaceful protest. There, you cannot even go to the abortion clinics anymore. These people, they were just having a peaceful protest in front of the abortion clinics, and they are handcuffed by the policemen. You want that to happen in the Philippines? In fact, one pro-lifer who has been jailed for many times already said, what kind of a country is this? Where we are in prison when we are defending the most defenseless human being form. What kind of a country is this when we will go to prison while we are trying to rescue lives, no? So that is going to happen in the Philippines also. And in fact, it's a very recent article in Spain, sister, where you come from, in 2011, March 2011, that parents who refuse to send their children to sex education class, they are being jailed, no? And it is happening also in other parts of the world. You want that to happen? Sex education is mandatory in this bill. They want to silence us. But I would like to beg you, let us unite. Let us be one with our bishops. This is a fight worth laying our lives for. Jesus gave his life for us to have life, abundant life. No? Of course, we are so inspired by the resurrection of Jesus and ascension into heaven. You want to go to heaven? Yes. You want to die? But we cannot go to heaven without dying. So you know when I was receiving a lot of threats, I told them, you want to kill me? Go ahead and do it. I only have one life to live. If my one life can make a difference in this world, then gladly would I give it. We're not going to live long in this world. So kung mamatay man tayo, doing the greatest and most important work on earth, then perhaps we will go to heaven and see Jesus face to face. So why worry? And besides, kung magkaisa po tayong lahat, we will not be afraid. We'll have people power. I'm so afraid that the Mother came to power through people power, and the Son will be ousted from office through people power. The other day, I was at JP2. No? There was a workshop after my talk, and one of the recommendations was people power. No? That would be last resort. If they will insist on this, then we may go into this. But you know, if all of us will unite, nakarami natin, no? Dami natin, where are we going to put us? Is there any prison cell in the Philippines na magkakasya tayong lahat? Then perhaps no prison cell can accommodate us. And then the Philippines would go bankrupt if all of us will be willing to go to prison. Why? Prisoners have free breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we can have free. We don't have to worry about buying our meals. They will have to give us our meals. So therefore they might say, okay, you can just go out. But we need to be united. we need to be united with our bishops. Nanawagan na po sila.